Welcome to another Engramax. Today, we'll be talking about modals in the past. In our previous lesson, we talked about modals with present and future references. But today, we're talking about past references. And the modal verbs we will cover today are had to, should have, could, and could have. These are two different modal verbs. May have, like in terms of meaning, of course, could is could. May have, might have, must have, can't have, would not, and needn't have. Let's begin. First, had to. Had to is for past obligations. Like we cannot use must for obligation in the past. Like you cannot say, yesterday I must do that. Doesn't make sense. You say, I had to do it. Past obligations. She had to answer all the questions correctly, and it follows with a base form, just like a modal verb. You didn't have to, but this is not a modal verb because you see, it has different forms. But like a modal verb, it follows with a base form. You didn't have to be there so early. But in here, look, this is a lack of obligation. With have to. This is different from this. When you use it in positive form, it is obligation. When you use it in negative form, it is a lack of obligation. When you say you didn't have to be there so early, it means it was up to you. So pay attention to the distinction between this and this. I've had to deal with this situation since March. You see a different form in present perfect form. But because this is positive, this is an obligation in the past. Should have. Unfulfilled expectation is the first function about should have. He should have arrived by now. Something is wrong. Should have arrived. And it follows with past participle. Why? This is a modal verb. Not because of the modal verb. Because of what follows the modal verb. Have in here. This is an auxiliary verb. So should is your first auxiliary verb and have is your second auxiliary verb. And the verb that follows always is subject to the immediate verb before it. Not this one, not this one. So this one and not this one. The next one is criticism of past actions. You shouldn't have told him my story. Someone told somebody your story, you're criticizing them. You say, you shouldn't have done that. You shouldn't have told them. Regret. I should have known better. I should have done it in a different way. I should have told him. I should have got help from her, and so on. Could. Ability in the past. This could is different from present could. This could is in the past. So, ability in the past. She could speak 5 languages when she was 8. She had the ability to speak 5 languages when she was 8. Permission in the past. We could stay up till late when we were kids. It means we had the permission. Like, again, very similar to each other. So, could have. Could have is for possibility in the past. He could have been a better father. This is very similar to the third conditional. You're talking about a possibility in the past. We couldn't have done it without you. It means what we did, it wasn't, or it wouldn't be possible without your help. Must have. Deduction in the past, positive only again. Remember, when you use must in the present for deduction, that is also positive only, because negative deduction is couldn't or can't. And it is the same for the past. We say, he must have killed her. He had the motive. Again, this is an educated guess. He must have killed her. It means I am certain, almost certain that he killed her. She is happy. She must have got the job because, you're waiting for your friend who has gone to a job interview. And when she or he is coming back, you see that they are happy. So you deduce or you conclude that she must have got the job. And again, past participle because it is following have here, not must immediately. Can't have, deduction, negative only. This is a negative deduction. It means when you use must or must have, you say, I'm certain something is true or something was true. When you use couldn't or can't, when you say it means something is impossible to be true. When you use can't have or couldn't have, it means something was impossible to be true. Deduction. He can't have killed her. He loved her. It means your deduction. It means you think he is not the killer. Negative deduction. Can't have and couldn't have. In here, in the deduction, they mean almost the same. I told you also about them with present references in our previous lesson. He couldn't have possibly confessed. Again, this is your deduction, your negative deduction. You're saying that his confessing is impossible. To my idea, to my understanding. Would not. We use would not to show unwillingness of doing something in the past. We say, he just wouldn't shut up. Like you are telling a story to your friends and you say someone was incessantly talking and, no matter how many times I told them to shut up, but he just wouldn't shut up. When someone is unwilling to do something for you, no matter how many times we called, they wouldn't answer. Again, it means it is not just they didn't answer, they wouldn't answer. It means they didn't want to answer us. Needn't have. Remember, needn't have, just like didn't have to, shows a lack of obligation. But pay attention to this. We say a lack of obligation in the past. We needn't have paid him, or we didn't need to pay. Look, when you use need like this is need like a modal verb. When you use it, we say we needn't have paid, past participle, paid him. It means you paid. And now you realize, oh, you see, we paid for nothing. We needn't have paid them. But when you say we didn't need to pay, or when you say we didn't have to pay, it means we didn't pay. You see, we didn't have to pay, so we didn't. But when you say we needn't have paid, it means you did pay. But the good thing is you don't need to use two sentences. Just one sentence tells the entire story. And now, an exercise. Underline the best choice. Again, in advanced grammar, we rarely have right or wrong. We have a good choice and a best choice. Number one, that can't have been or shouldn't have been Nick that you saw. This is obviously a deduction, so can't have been. Number two, you might have given me a hand. You might have given me a hand. You're criticizing somebody. That you're saying that it was possible for you to help me, but obviously you didn't. Number three, I caught a later train because I must have seen a client. I must have seen a client is deduction. It's got no business here. So I had to see, an obligation in the past. Number four, I suppose Bill might have lost his way. Might have lost his way. Look, when you say should have, it means criticism. When you say might have, it means it's possible. In here, it says I suppose. It means it's possible. Number five, I didn't refuse the cake as it should have been. I would have been, as it should have been rude, or it would have been rude. Obviously, this is a third conditional, so we use would. Number six, I don't know who rang, but it could have been, it must have been Jim. When you don't know, you don't use must for deduction. Say it could have, it might have, it may have. Number seven, I asked them to leave, but they might not, they wouldn't go. Again, unwillingness to do something. And number eight, it's your own fault. You shouldn't have gone to bed so late. Criticism about a past action. Shouldn't have or should have. Okay, this was our lesson on past modals. If you liked the lesson, you know what to do. Ask me any questions you want in the messages or in the comment section. See you next time.